I feel like I could destroy anybody, honestly. And don't get me wrong, I'm a very nice person. But at the same time, when I step into the mat, I step into the cage, I step into the ring, I'm out to knock off everybody's head. And that's what makes me happy, and that's what excites me. My name is Zion Clark. I'm a wrestler, I'm a Guinness World Record holder, I'm a professional track and field athlete, and I'm a motivational speaker. And this is No Days Off. One thing I learned from wrestling, and I was able to actually apply it to almost all aspects of my life, which is just the fact that you gotta just keep pushing forward, you gotta keep working hard, you gotta keep trusting the process. Because if you're putting in the work, you're putting in the time, you're putting in the effort, good things will come of it. So I was born with caudal regression syndrome. It's a very rare disease. It affects roughly 1 out of every 100,000 kids each year. Causes like portions of my spine to be missing and obviously me not to have legs. Today, I'm gonna be taking you guys just through a little bit of what I do, and I'm gonna show you guys just a little bit of how I get down and how I maintain with my body pretty much every day. And so you guys are gonna get to see some real monsters in the gyms. When I first got introduced into wrestling, I was in 2nd grade. It looked honestly really fun to me. 17 years have gone by and I'm still doing it to this day. From youth all the way up till my junior year of high school, didn't win hardly a single match. And then, I kind of just decided to sacrifice some things I like to do. I had to sacrifice part of what I was doing with instruments and band to focus on high school wrestling full time. So for 3 months over the summer between my junior and senior year, I trained 2-3 times a day, 7 days a week. By the time my senior year came around, I went from being one of the worst to one of the best in the country and one of the best in the state of Ohio. I moved to California in general because of pure opportunity. I already had people asking me to come out and do different things. I never really saw a good opportunity to go just stay out there and do that. And then the Ellen show happened, and my buddy Joey, he was out here and he was like, bro, you could stay at my crib. Next thing you know, I'm training with some of the most elite fighters on the planet. When you fight with somebody every day and you train like that, drawing blood, tempers flaring, either you learn to really dislike somebody or you learn to love them because they're the ones that's making you better, pushing you further. The first achievement that really brought everything to a reality, I would say, was my first tournament I went to, my senior year of high school. I won my first 5 matches, so I was undefeated, but a tournament's a whole different game, and I bumped up a whole weight class. I found out that all right, if I hit this one certain move called a tilt on everybody, I was gonna win. And next thing you know, I felt pretty good about myself and just kept winning after that, and only lost 15 times out of 40. My family is known for having multiple state champs. We're just a very athletic-driven family. It got to the point where I had to get drug tested because they thought that I was using performance-enhancing drugs. I had to do all this stuff to prove. I was like, dude, I'm just working hard. That's all this is. My cousin, my sister, my uncle, we have something special about us that when we're driven, that we will keep pushing way past the point of exhaustion.
My name's Craig Levinson. I'm Zion's mentor, manager, and also his trainer. I'll do anything for him, and I think vice versa. He had a lot of stigma and negativity growing up, and 17 years in foster care.
It was difficult. I always was moving somewhere new, and I had been jumping around home since I was 2-3 years old. The way I was able to honestly just survive it was just the fact I had wrestling, I had friends that I made. I look forward to going to school more than I would be at home, so I would stay and try to get in as many extracurricular activities as I could.
He was living in survival for 17 years. Now he's in a mindset of thriving, and it's a whole different shift of mentality to allow people into his life and to allow good into his life. Currently he trains 5-6 days a week, depending on what his focus is, if it's wrestling or track. He's a multi-sport athlete. We'll tailor his workouts based on what performance we're trying to excel in. For example, if it's wrestling, we'll focus more on plyometric style training, building explosive upper body power, and we'll do that through a lot of resistance band work, medicine ball rotation, explosive bench press and shoulder workouts. When it is more track generated, it's all about quick hand speed that's used for the way he strikes the chair. With regards to that, it's more being quick on his hands through ladder work, agility and cones.
I hate to lift, but I do it anyways because it's very beneficial. I'm not the type of guy that lifts to look big. I'm gonna lift more for stamina. Yeah, I can lift over 200, 300 pounds, but at the same time, I'm not doing it for the weight, I'm doing it for the reps. So the way I got the Guinness record, I was at Redondo Beach in Los Angeles. We were just doing like a lifestyle shoot. I told the camera dude, I was like, hey bro, you trying to like try to keep up with me while I do these sprints real quick? Next thing you know, Guinness is calling us because they had seen the video of me running on my Instagram page. And next thing you know, I'm in my hometown, had Olympic medalist Butch Reynolds there, big support group. My mom, my family, all got to watch me just completely just dismantle this record, and it was awesome.
He inspires me with everything he does. The biggest one is his mentality. He has infectious energy and just the smile on his face, and also, you know, not taking things for granted. Always a reminder to him is, you know, do what makes you happy and do what genuinely you enjoy in life, and like, you can't go wrong.
Let's get to it.
When it comes to wrestling or any other martial art, they're all different forms of fighting. With wrestling being the very first form of fighting ever discovered on the planet. With wrestling, you're really just imposing your will onto one another, and you're doing it in the most painful way possible. And when you finally win that battle over somebody, all the adrenaline, all the emotions, they just come pouring out.
My name is Coach Charles Martinez. I'm the head MMA and kickboxing coach here at the arena in San Diego. Zion's always good to work with. He's very motivated. He's obviously a hard worker, and you can see it in everything that he does. He's always kind of trying to push the envelope and try and find a way to challenge himself. And this is a challenge for anybody. Like, a lot of principles in fighting are just standard principles that go across the board, but you have to apply it specifically per body type. So like trying to find ways to make it work specifically for him is fine, because I'm used to adjusting training styles for different body types anyway.
My mind is just blank when I'm wrestling, and I just let my body move. Because when it comes to wrestling and martial arts, I've trained certain moves thousands and thousands of times, to the point where, say that I was grabbing your wrist, I could close my eyes and still take you down, just because my body's so accustomed to just moving on its own. Right now in martial arts, working on a lot of my striking is just something I could improve on, just to open up more takedowns. Because the more I can open up a takedown, the easier it's going to be for me to beat you up, and that's what we want.
He's willing to push. He doesn't feel as if there needs to be any special, well, I don't want to do this or I don't want to do that. He's willing to do anything we throw at him. You know, and that's just kind of part of his content of character.
Arena on three, arena on three. 1, 2, 3, arena!
So immediate goals is to continue building his story as a motivational speaker and just inspiring people from different walks of life to realize their only limitation is yourself. And Zion's a prime example of that through how he lives his life. A bigger goal of ours is to be the first ever Olympian and Paralympian at the same Olympics. And I think he has the capability to accomplish it with his mindset.
My goal for Paris 2024 is to win gold medals in wrestling, track and field, bring home to my mom, and get right back to it. Because I don't want to just stop at one. I want more than one. I want as many as I can possibly get out of myself. But it's what our living is. We focus all of our time into being that athlete. Because once you hit that world stage, it's a different type of beast.
The 4 years I've known him, you know, I've seen him grow tremendously as an athlete, as an individual, as a philanthropist, and want to give back and inspire the next generation.
So the ways I like to give back, I like to speak at schools quite a bit. I've also started a GoFundMe, and I'm going to be giving back to the foster care system, but not directly to the system. It's going to be more focused on the actual kids and setting them up with a good way to live.
His ability to look at himself as I want to challenge myself, instead of I want to make excuses why I can't do something else. And I think that should inspire anybody. People just always have an excuse. You know, so I think his ability to look at something and not make excuses for it, I think is inspiring to anybody.
No days off to me kind of means almost the same thing as no excuses. You complain, you don't whine, you don't make any problems for yourself bigger than what they should be. You make sure your place is clean. You make sure that you have your set plan straight. You do it every single day because you're working towards a bigger goal. No excuses.